Hey there, happy Wednesday. Tonight we are continuing our hand stitching kind of fake needle turn applique of the Aurifil Block of the Month. It is really starting to come along here. We'll look at it a little bit more closely, but we have turned our pieces right side out and are starting to stitch them on. So that is the plan for tonight. Thank you guys for joining me here. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make cute embroidery kits for the beginning crafter. And I'm here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. And it's a time that we can relax and craft together. I'm here for about an hour, and we're going to work on the Aurifil Block of the Month today. I typically work on projects from beginning to end, and this week is the Aurifil Block of the Month week, the third full week of every month, or no, the fourth full week, sorry, of every month we do the Aurifil. The Aurifil Block of the Month. So the Aurifil is those fun little cones of thread. Aurifil is the company. They are an Italian company, and they are doing a stitch along, a quilt along that represents different countries and different cities in Italy and different color palette. So this is the yellow color palette. It's for Sicily. So that is what we're doing tonight. We are starting to hand stitch the rest of these pieces on. We did a little bit yesterday, and it's going to be just so relaxing and chill. I love this part. This is where you can just kind of ease in to the relaxing that is stitching things down. All right, you guys, let's get going. Thanks again for joining me. All right, it is looking good. Thanks everyone for joining me. Seeing everyone that is in. Oh, Gretchen says, okay, lesson learned. Once again, never underestimate a simple design. I think what she's referring to is that I sort of fall in love with whatever block we're working on. So even a simple design like this, where you might be like, I don't know, it's fine. It maybe is for me, maybe isn't, I don't know. But as you get going, you can just really make it your own and fall in love with it. It is just crazy. I love that feeling. And I'm definitely, as we are stitching this inside curve, so that's all we've done so far. It's all pinned down, but we did stitch this inside curve of this rind, and this has all this extra because I wasn't able to turn it right side out like these other ones, so we are actually gonna tuck those under. So this is more like needle turn than this will be. We're kind of doing like a fake needle turn where we actually just made our shapes, put a backing on it, and then sewed them together and turned them right side out. So it already has a nice finished edge, and then we're just tacking that down. Versus a true needle turn where you'd have the seam allowance and you're tucking it under as you stitch. We're gonna get closer to that with this piece, but definitely started falling in love with it as we got going. So that is the plan tonight. We're just gonna see how far we can stitch this. So I am using that pretty Aurifil that I got for my block. My block was orange, so I was the designer for July's block, and it had a bunch of orange in the palette, in the Color Builders box. Also, remember, be sure to put your finished piece, your finished block, up on the Aurifil blog. There should be instructions underneath the post for this block. If you post it there, you do have a chance of winning 3 sets of 3 of these Aurifil Color Builder series threads, and these are not cheap, so it'd be awesome to win. So for sure, if you work on any of these, put your finished one up on their post. Oh, exciting! Judy says the bride loves the quilt. Yay! Oh, so you did a gift, a quilt gift for the bride. That just, is a very, very beautiful, thoughtful gift. All right, I already tied this into a knot here. You guys. Actually, I might just use that as my knot. I twisted this up already, but it's so close to the end. This is going to be my knot oh, there, I'm able to loosen it a little bit. This is going to be my knot just to get started. I think that worked out perfect. All right, so I'm using that straw needle again, which is that skinny, really thin needle. I think this is a size 10, size 10 or 11. So the bigger the number, the skinnier the needle. So this is an extra thin one, and it's great for this hand stitching, especially this needle turn. So we started here, we went all the way over to here, and we ended up giving ourselves like a little leeway for a couple extra stitches. So I'm going to come up right there, kind of a stitch from where we left off. I got that knot in the back. Oh, I'm getting like a knot here too. Sheesh, not starting out great as far as knots go. All right, I'm going to go around that spot one more time. And I think I might need to pick this corner out a little bit. And I thought, oh, here it is. My little T-pin. Just as we get to these little areas that need some help yet, that's the sort of stuff I figured we'd do once we get there. So I'm just kind of picking out these corners a little bit more. They're actually looking okay, so we're just going to leave it. I thought maybe it was in a little bit, but it's about as far out as it's going to go. So when I'm stitching, I'm only stitching in we got those 2 layers of fabric. I'm only stitching in the top layer, our patterned layer, because then it will pull that fabric over the edge and you won't see our background fabric. So that's the goal. We don't want people to know that we cheated on our needle turn applique. We want them to think it's actual needle turn. Like anyone's gonna know. All those people who are gonna be like, that wasn't real needle turn. Well, if you entered this into a fair or something like that, those are the people that would look at that stuff. So if we can fool those people, quilt show judges, then we did it. I think I made my thread a little too long, but I was hoping that I didn't do it too long, but still only had to use one piece to get all the way back around the outside of this. Oh, so is the pinking, Lisa on YouTube is asking, is this pinking sheer side necessary? In a way it is. It's probably not as necessary as clipping the inside curves. So remember on the inside curves, we just put little snips in all the way around. That's because when we turned it right side out, I mean, I did this for these inside curves too. That has to stretch, like that inside seam allowance has to stretch and open up to like force itself into that new position. So we actually do need to cut mechanically for it to work. The pinking shears, where you cut in the notches, that is more to reduce bulk. So when we flip this outside arc to the inside, all of these are going to come together. So it's not going to be like a V anymore. It's going to get squished together. And where that V would have just been bulky. So in theory, you could get by without cutting these edges, doing those notches, but it is going to be a lot of bulk on the inside. So where that is going to come into an issue would be, like on a corner, or like right here, we clipped around the edge. All that bulk is going to be a lot to fit in this tiny little corner. So you just might have bigger rounded edges. So it's not as mechanically necessary as snipping the inside curves. But you don't need a pinking shears either. You can just snip with the scissors. That's typically how it's done. I just think that would take forever, so I like using the pinking shears. But yeah, you could probably get away with it, but just be prepared to deal with that extra bulk, and you might actually be able to see how bulky it is underneath. But I don't think that would necessarily be a bad thing or anything. All right, we are officially on the outside curve. And I'm thinking, I like putting my hand like this, and it's going to be on top of all these pins. So I gotta not stab myself. So I am still trying to tuck the edge a little bit because I do want to pull down that. So like right here, this is what I'm talking about. Like right here, you can see, let's get even closer if you guys can see. You can see the outer edge, which is my pretty fabric on the outside, and then you can see the underneath fabric, like right on the edge, you can see both. What I'm trying to do is only go into this the top fabric, because then it's going to pull it over the edge and cover up that bottom piece. So that's why when I do this stitch, so I'm going in the back of the fabric, then I'm coming up, and as I come up, I am just going to try and clip, like just grab that upper fabric. And that'll pull it down when I make my stitch. So that's what's going to make it be so you can't see that underneath fabric. So a little extra putzing. Oh, thanks, Teresa. Yeah, it's kind of, it is confusing. Like, do you put the snips in or do you put the notches in? So the snips are just when we cut the single snips, like, so it's like one little cut almost to the seam allowance, and the cutting notches is when you cut the like triangles out. But yeah, it's a little bit of a brain bender, but you got to think, the part that was on the inside curve here, you're folding that over, like you're folding the seam allowance over, and now that inside curve is like an outside curve, right? So to turn an inside curve, which it is on the outside, but you're folding it underneath, so you can actually see it here. Now it's an outside curve. We can actually take a look. So see, here's all of our little snips we put in. Those had to spread apart, otherwise this would have been all locked up like this yet, and our entire piece would have been distorted. So by cutting these little snips, now you can see they've expanded, because they've had to make up for that. Now it's doing an outside arc because we folded that bit under. So we're gonna have the opposite issue with these. These are all gonna need to scrunch together to fit in that space. So it is kind of weird. It's an outside curve on the outside, your main front fabric, but on the inside, that seam allowance had to turn in the opposite direction than what it wants to. It wants to stay like how it was on the outside, but if you're flipping it the other way, you need to accommodate for its new direction that it's going in. But like I said, it's most mechanically necessary on inside curves to do that snipping, because it will just never lay flat. You'll never get it to, because it can't spread apart. It doesn't have anywhere to go unless you have a stretchy fabric. Then it'll just be on full stretch while the outside will be scrunched up. Yeah, whereas, like I said, the other way, the outside curves, you're just having to stuff a ton of bulk out of the way. Notches are just to get rid of bulk, not to do anything mechanical besides that. All right, we're past the part that I actually was able to turn, which is right there. So we are flipping this around. Just kind of doing it with my fingers. It's nice that we did that inside curve first, because now, like, we don't need pins or anything for this. Just tucking those edges under and grabbing that outside fabric. Did I catch any of the yellow in your stitch? So that's all I'm trying to catch. So I'm going in here and I'm only trying to catch the yellow fabric, the outside fabric, if that's what you're asking. So I'm on purpose going over the background fabric at the seam and just getting only the yellow fabric, because then it pulls it over the top of the outside or the underneath fabric, and then you don't see it at all. You just see your pretty edge. If I think that's what you might be asking. Ooh, so okay, t-shirt quilts are being discussed over on Facebook. So people who do t-shirt quilts, I have not made one, but there has been shirts at my parents' house that have been meant to be turned into a t-shirt quilt for ages and ages, but we've been stuck on process. Like, is there a special, like, what stabilizer do you like, or do you even use a stabilizer? What are some t-shirt quilt tips, if you have any? I'd love to hear. Look how good this is looking, though. It is just flat on there. Oh, it just looks so clean and refined. I'm loving that so far. Ooh, and that's what all of our pieces are going to look like. How poofy all these are on the edge, those are going to turn into like these perfectly stitched down bits. Ah, fun. It's looking awesome. So today I'm hoping to get this whole rind done. I think we'll be done with that pretty quickly here. I would love to get at least one of these segments, like lemon segments, I guess is what they'd be called. I'd love to get at least one of those done. Oh, thanks, Kathy. Okay, so Tracy says that she uses SF101. So that is the name of the stabilizer, correct? Like a t-shirt stabilizer. And then does it make the t-shirt really stiff? Like, I'd love one where it still feels like a t-shirt after. Not like totally getting it stiff. Oh, and Gretchen says the cutting of the t-shirt is important. So what about the cutting is important? Okay, so by Pellon. So Pellon's the brand, SF101. Okay. We will look in for that. Okay, so Tracy says no, it's lightweight. Okay. Good. So you just have to iron all that on. Do you iron it first and then cut the t-shirt? Or I mean, like, cut the front of the t-shirt off, but then iron it on and then cut like the final size of the t-shirt after it's ironed on? I mean, I'm guessing that's probably the only way to really do it. Okay, so Colleen is saying that that's what she uses too, and it also is lightweight. I think I'm catching that convo. Oh, Jennifer, don't want to take you from deep conversation with your son, but happy you're here. Okay, so Tracy says you ironed it on first and then cut your t-shirt shape. Okay, I'm gonna have to remember that. The Pellon SF101. Might just have to next time before going to my parents' house, might just have to throw an Amazon order up for that or whatever and have it delivered to their house. Get the right supplies in place. Get tucked under. So I'm just using my needle to help me tuck under the edge. So we are getting some of that needle turn stuff happening, still using the needle. Like I need another quilt project, but it would be, this I'm just looking at the stitch, it seems pretty loose. But that's been a project sitting around for a while, so that'd be a pretty neat one to get done. Ooh, I got like a weird little bloop here. I think it'll be fine. Poofing it out a little bit so I'm right at the seam. I think I was maybe tucking a little too much under over on this side, but I think it's fine. Oh, the teachers will roll up if you don't use the wonder under the stabilizer. All right. We're about, oh, I think we're a little over halfway with this bottom part of the rind here. All right. Oh gosh, no, we're not. We're way far. I thought this was like the third one, but nope. We're approaching halfway, so we're getting it. There it is. Yeah, my bottom edge is a little wonky, but it's kind of cute. I like it. It's looking super nice, just all stitched down though. It just looks so clean. And it just feels so cool. Like you can definitely tell that there's like substance there, that it's not, printed on the fabric or anything. It's definitely got some heft and poof to it, which is kind of the beauty of needle turn. If we did this with the fusible interface, where we just fuse the fabric to the back right away, it wouldn't have that three-dimensional feel to it that you get with needle turn. Yeah, I'm kind of happy that we just went with the one color too. I think it's really kind of cute. I bet you with more than one color of fabric, like the rind was a different color and, the segments were different colors, I bet you that's pretty cute too. But I'm happy with this. Still ended up backwards though. I miscalculated on that, but oh well. Your lemon rinds are different thicknesses. Yep, mine's thick and thin, and then thick and thin. Oh, Kathy's asking if it's easy to stitch on this gray fabric, because this fabric is kind of awkward. Like it's not really a quilting weight fabric. It's a little more stretchy. I think it's ideal, actually. It is working fabulous, and I think there's a lot of give to it. So because it is so flowy, and because the pattern is, it is almost, it's just like a gray with some purple stripes, but it is like woven, and it's actually kind of got a lot like going on. It's probably vibrating for you guys on the screen a little bit. Ooh, I didn't think about that. But it's actually kind of pretty busy. So I think it's hiding a lot. Like if I'm stretching the fabric, or if I'm grabbing too much fabric, or like making like little puckers here and there, I don't think you're seeing any of that. So it's actually working really, really well for this. I'm happy with it. So that's a nice surprise. Oh, now we're halfway for sure. It'll be so much easier once we have all these like raw edges tucked under because there won't be any more raw edges in the rest of our piece. It was just because I wasn't able to turn this right side out, so we kind of had to slice open the back. It's still working though. You won't know. Like it won't look different than the other ones, I guess is what I'm saying. The other pieces. Yep, when the back is blooping out a little bit, I'm just trying to tuck it under again. Hey Carol, welcome to the YouTube side of it. Yep, so we are on Facebook and YouTube, so I know some people like how comments and like conversation works better on Facebook, but then I know like some people like watching the YouTube on TV, which is maybe a little bit easier on YouTube or while doing other things. So people like it for different reasons. This is coming along and I'm loving it. This is just so chill though. Like this is, I love doing this needle turn. I got a taste of this a little bit during that first Splendid Sampler. I had learned how to do it. Like I had a demo of it at a quilt show once. Actually, I got a demo from Carolyn Freelander, so that was pretty dang cool. I kind of got the idea of it, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is cool. But when we did the first Splendid Sampler, there was a lot of needle turn applique in that, so it was a huge opportunity to play around with just like test it, like see, just try to learn, you know, and you know, I was making a whole lot of errors, but learned some tricks along the way. But that's kind of when I discovered how relaxing it is. It really is, just to make all these little stitches and have it look so pretty when you're done. Ugh, it's just it's nice. It reminds me a little bit of how like knitting and crochet are for me. Like there's no thinking really. You're just tucking the thing under and stitching it down. There's like no decision making that has to happen. It's like mental yoga. Even with embroidery, I was saying this the other day, but I don't think that doesn't have the same feeling for me. Like embroidery, you got like, you're making decisions along that whole way, like how big to make your stitches, or you know, what colors to use, and what part are you on now, and all that. But this is just, you're just following the line and doing stitches. I am enjoying it for sure. So it does take forever though. So sometimes I just want to get this done wins out, and then I don't do the needle turn applique, but I think it worked out for this particular piece. Or is in the process of working out. It's getting there. It looks so good. Definitely got some little wobbles in it, but that's kind of fun. We got about 2 inches left to stitch down. Then I think we're going to start with the outside outer segments. So we'll just pick one. Just because I think those kind of line up to the top of this rind, like the little topper here. So I figure we kind of get those pinned down and do those, and then we can just kind of move the middle to, you know, where they need to be, like if we need to place them differently. when we're done with the first two. So like I said, I'd like to get a whole one of those segments done tonight. That'd be amazing. Be even better if we got one done and the next one started. That'd be a way to end. Alright, tuck all that under. Oh, hey, Marie popped in over on YouTube. Yes, patience is a virtue on this needle turn applique for sure. You just gotta, I mean, I decide on projects or like especially these smaller projects where we can like, oh, what kind of applique do we do? I base it on need, right? So if we're like, let's just get it done quick, then I will choose a quick way of getting it done. But if I just want to relax and sit with it or whatever, then needle turn applique is great. So I wouldn't do it in this way if I had that feeling of, oh, I need to just get this done real quick and let's move on to the next thing, because that is not fun if you are feeling that and then are doing like a slow method. So that's actually why I like a lot of craft projects going on at once. Like that's why I like having like an embroidery project or something that's a quick win. I'm going to try and, nah, that's picked out enough this corner. But like some of those quick win projects are definitely good to have around while you're working on these long projects. All right, I can't, this is like the farthest away. I gotta adjust my hand a little bit there. So I did damage this fabric a little bit when I tried to turn it right side out. It didn't have anywhere to go. Like, this is just too small of a space and I had too much bulk. So I'm hoping that this isn't totally torn. It doesn't look like it, so I'm hoping that kind of settles in when I wash this. We'll see. All right, a little bit on the top here. I think that's about it. I think I can do my last little stitch. We'll go around that spot one more time. There we go, and I'm going to just head to the back and we'll tie it off, and then this rind is done. That wasn't as painful as it could have been. Oh gosh, it's so poofy underneath. So this is what I'm saying, like, I am pulling the background fabric so much, so I'm glad that we did 13 inches instead of just the 12. But when we, this is also making the front kind of poofy and pretty too. So maybe it wouldn't have moved or, like, gotten, like with a normal quilting weight fabric, maybe it wouldn't have been so poofy underneath here. But that's just from me handling it too. We'll see if the other ones turn out like that. It's almost like I put like a rope or something in there. If you can see it. All right, let's snip that. Actually snip this little thread over here too. All right, let's take a look at that. So I think that turned out so cute. Here it is, just completely like stitched down, part of the fabric, looks just like needle turn. I'm stoked. So all of these poofy guys with their poofy little edges, that is going to have that same feel, and I'm super excited. All right, I think I want to work on this a little bit. So I do want like all of these little points to come to the middle. Like it's supposed to go kind of straight across. So let's look at it this way. Like I want that straight across. So I'm actually going to repin, and I'm going to put 2 pins in each, just so we can keep, and by each I just mean we're going to start with just these 2, and then these will fall into place later. So let's take this one out. And I just want like a straight line in between here. We'll see if I can achieve that. And it might not be perfect either, because when we pull the edges over, this might end up looking a little different, but I think we need to tuck these in a little bit more. These guys probably have to move out of the way a little bit. Let's actually just do that. We'll come back to these. I'm going to just try to keep them in order up here. 1 and 2. There, this will be easier. Straight line. I think these guys need to be tucked in a little. And again, I'm not going to get these perfect. So are they about the same distance from here? I think about so. All right, let's pin them. It doesn't need to move down, does it? Ooh, I'm getting picky here. All right. I think I'm going to start kind of close to the tip here. Yeah, I think I'm going to start right there. So let's pin it here. And let's pin it a second one just so we got that 2 points of contact so it doesn't wiggle around as much. All right, I think that's in place. And then those other two we'll put back in. Let's just see if they, if we just ruined like how they'll fit. Ooh, they're tight in there though, aren't they? All these little points are going to be really close here, and that's going to be tough. But this one's kind of long, isn't it? That one's barely going to fit. I wonder if we have to tilt up our points a little bit more. I think we might have to. Maybe we can just scooch him up just a hair. Let's try it there. I'm getting way overly picky with this. Oh yeah, these I love these short applique pins too, Marie. I mean, they just work so nicely for this. All right, now how are these guys doing? Well, that one's going to be pretty close to the edge here. I don't know how that one got bigger, but I think, we're as good as we're going to get it here. Oh, it does kind of look like these are pointed in, though, a little bit now, don't they? Oh my gosh, you guys, I am being, like, crazy town now. I'm tilting these out just a hair. Alright, and then, so these have a little bit more room now. Okay, I think that looks better. I tilted, we'll adjust this one again, but let's get this one down. Okay, enough. Maybe I will just throw a couple pins in here, though, again, just to, like, leave them there. So I don't mix them up. But we'll readjust all of these as I go. Alright, but this one is the one we are just going to do. Okay, get my little, like, 24 inches or so. I'm just, I'm going to get a new piece of thread after I go around this one piece, so I just need enough for that. Okay. So this thread conditioner, again, is just helping it so it doesn't twist and get knots as I stitch, and so far so good. It's been working great. Well, so in theory, the outside ones are probably the longer ones, but there's only just kind of like this one long one, and I numbered them. So I think I put them in the right order. I mean, what happened is I probably just didn't sew it very well, would be my guess. But maybe there's a lot hiding on the inside of these that, when I start stitching it, I'll pull some of that out. All right, ugh, why am I doing it not like this? Anyway, here's my knot to start out. Okay, I think I'm actually going to start over here. I was thinking I stitched from here to there, but that's actually backwards in my head, so we're going to start here. So these pins should be keeping it where I want it to be. I'm going to start like on the straight edge here, and then we'll end up going around that curve. Well, wherever this ends up is where it's going to end up. Oh, I think my knot kind of came through, but I'm going to go around that spot again, and I think we'll be good. Yeah, we're fine. Yeah, okay, we're doing it. So again, I'm just going to try and catch that outer top edge here. And if it seems like there's more fabric underneath, like the seam is not out all the way, I'm just going to take my needle and try and pick it out a little bit more. So I think kind of what's happening, why it was so poofy on the back, is this back fabric is so much more flowy and soft than the front fabric. So the front fabric is the one wanting to stay in place, whereas the back fabric is okay flexing a little bit. Oh, yes. So Catherine's asking on Facebook, is next week free because it's like an odd week? Yes. So next week we will be, it'll be like a whole week of Finish It Friday, basically. Because it's one of those weird weeks where half of it is September and half of it is October. So it's not really a great... We don't have, like, I like our calendar going with full weeks. So, you know, the first full week is when we work on the Granny Square quilt, not when it's, you know, still September and stuff. So, yep, next week will be a full week of working on other projects. So if there's one you want to work on, let me know. All sorts of unfinished projects. Although some are getting a little bit to the quilting stage almost. Alright, I'm approaching this corner here. So there's a ton of bulk in this corner, I can feel it, but so I don't think it can be picked out anymore really either. I think that's just what all our points are going to look like, which is just fine. Oh, that's not a bad idea. Colleen says, great working on the leaders and enders. We could work on that project some more. That would be great to have further along. Okay, this is looking awesome. This is really just... It just, you know, it's magic how it goes from this floopy thing to like a perfectly stitched down thing. It's looking great. Yeah, that triangle. Oh, the triangle tangle one. So I think that's just at the stage where I need to start quilting it, but I wanted to draw out like a fun design. Gosh, maybe, I don't know. I don't know if I'll get to it, but it'd be fun to draw out a design really quick for the back and then attempt to start drawing it on. Yep, there's that swan bag. We could do that. Oh, it would be fun to just crochet or knit as well. You know, another washcloth. That'd be fun. My go-to knitting project. That's true. We could work on a different project each day. Just they could each take their turn. All right. Going around that point, it's kind of more of like a small little curve instead. Oh, congrats! Amy just finished her pumpkin and bat embroideries. Nice. Ooh, Carol says that she got her 36 granny squares done and need to start cutting sashin. Dang, good work. That's actually what I'm really kind of excited to get back on is the granny squares, but we'll be doing that the first week, full week in October. So we'll be working on that anyway. So I won't take next week for that. All right, I'm gonna unpin this first one at least. Don't need that down anymore. Dang, I would love if we could get another one of these guys started tonight. We might have time for that. I think we will actually finish this week. So even a big old needle turn project, we're going to get done. Although we have very much sped up the process by turning these right side out. I mean, I don't have to spend any time tucking the edges under. If we would have done this in a normal needle turn applique, where we wouldn't have this backing fabric on, we would just draw on the front of the shape. We would like draw the shape, and then we'd have a seam allowance, and we'd be tucking under that seam allowance one by one stitch by one stitch, just about to the line that we drew, and we'd be just stitching that. So we could avoid that process when we do the needle turn in this way. Ooh, Carol says that tonight she's working on Pat Sloan's Going on a Picnic. I'm guessing that's a bunch of cute quilt blocks. Pat Sloan does a lot of fun applique designs. They're pretty cute. Oh, Sally says, I love working on the granny squares. Likewise, I'm excited to work on them again. I would love to spend like a Saturday at some point just cranking out the rest of them. That would be awesome. All right, now I'm going to remove that second pin. There, we're getting there. So now here's where it looks like I gotta make sure I start poofing out the seam. I guess we're good here, but like this curve, I want to just get it curvier. Ooh, did I just... Oh, I did. I went all the way around this thing. Okay, this guy's coming off because I need to replace him again anyway, and he's becoming more and more annoying. Keep catching on it. Let's rotate a little. See if I can pick out this curve a little. I'm not going to use that needle. That needle's kind of too delicate. It'll just bend. So I'm just going to take this stronger pin. Oh yeah, that curve looks perfect all of a sudden. Great. Excellent. That helped. So I'm just holding it in place with my thumb, and I'm going to keep that there until I get this nice curve stitched down. Yeah, Amy. We'll see how it works. Amy says, note to self, stitch on opposite sides for wedges. That'll be my next one, is the opposite one. I'm hoping, like, right now it's a theory that's playing out in my head, so I'm hoping that actually does work, doing the two opposites to get those kind of lined up, and then I'm hoping filling in with the other two will be easy. All theoretical. Ooh. Oh wow, Christy said I finished my needle felted landscape. It was so satisfying to do. That craft, loved it. That would be something to try again here. Some needle felting. That is totally just like painting, isn't it? It's just painting with felt or with fiber, with wool. Yeah, I wonder how close this stayed to its original spot. That'll be interesting. I'm definitely grabbing a lot of the underneath fabric. That's the challenge. You always have to make sure that your background fabric is flat as you stitch so you don't keep bunching it up underneath. And especially with this fabric, it really wants to just keep going underneath. Alright, we just need to round that other curve, and that curve looks pretty good. Still just trying to grab that outside fabric, or the top fabric, I should say. Which, on these curves is a little difficult, but we're getting it. Alright, I think this is going to be my last stitch, and then we will tie it off. I think we have a little bit of time to start the other one, at least to place it really well. Be great to get a start on it. Alright, I'm just kind of wrapping around that spot twice, and we're going to head to the back again, and we'll tie it off completely. Then we'll see what we got here. Yep, still pulling a lot of that fabric underneath, but again, I think that's a lot of the nature of this particular fabric. But the fabric's also forgiving, like I think we'll be okay. Okay. Let's take a look. Ugh, looking cute. So here it is, stitched, so it's like completely in the quilt, it looks like. Yeah, I think it looks like it stayed pretty well. Let's get these other guys back to just kind of line everything up again, and then I want to get this guy lined up, see how he's doing. Alright, so I think kind of want to aim that point up a little higher. I'd like to try and do that point first, which we kind of will. I'm going to start on this side and go out again, so get that point positioned. I think that looks pretty straight. And how does it look this way? Not bad. I think we are as okay as we're gonna be. So let's do it. I want to get it started yet tonight. Then we'll have a roll on tomorrow. So we finished like the whole edge here and a whole slice tonight, and I'm guessing this edge would have taken at least as a little bit longer than this. So if we can get this started, maybe we can get, tomorrow's Thursday, maybe we can get 3 done tomorrow, which would be amazing. I don't know if we'll get there, but 3 done, and then if we could get the 3 more done on Friday, then we'll have finished this. don't quite know if that's the case, but getting a head start on it tonight. We got 4 minutes left. We can get cooking on it. Oops, I don't remember how I took this off of the spool. All right. Yeah, it's going, I think it's going quick too, Colleen. It's all about that we've pre-tucked it, like we've pre-turned it by doing that technique of turning them inside out. So I suppose if we were doing the true needle turn, we would have been starting like a day ago instead of, or a day earlier, because we wouldn't have had to spend time flipping all those right side out or anything. But this part just becomes so much more enjoyable, I think. I'm going a little in on the straight edge again versus starting on like a difficult part like a point. Actually, it probably doesn't matter so much when I've pre-tucked it, but when you haven't pre-tucked it and you're doing real needle turn applique, you do want to start on like a nice straightaway. You don't want to start on curves or a point or like an inside like point. All that's more difficult. You want to start on like a nice straight edge if you can. This is probably just the right amount of work on this for the night, though. I think I'm starting to feel it in my hand a little bit. Oh, nope, I'm not putting the word on it, although that's awfully cute. Who did that one? I saw that today, too, with the, put the limone word on it. That was a cute idea. I did like that. I'm just gonna do this because this is all we're gonna get done in the week. I'm not gonna stitch the word on either, but go for it. I think that did look really, really cute. I forget who did that though. But yeah, it's posted in the Penguin and Fish Crafters group. So yeah, if you guys aren't in the Penguin and Fish Crafters group on Facebook, be sure to get over there. That's where a lot of people are posting their work and then coming here and chatting. It's just a nice group. Oh, are you done, Gretchen? Fun. That's exciting. Oh yeah, Sicily. Oh, I'm sure I'm not pronouncing that right. The limone or limone, hey. But I think this is the city she's representing is Sicily, isn't it? I don't have it in front of me, but I think it's Sicily, so you could put that on too. Oh, was the word Sicily? Okay, maybe it was Sicily. So I probably, yeah, I remember the word. That there was a word, but yep, one or the other, one of those two. I guess Sicily would make more sense because these are all kind of representing the locations. We're gonna do a little bit more. I'm gonna get halfway on this guy, then we'll finish him up tomorrow. It's kind of nice sometimes starting in the middle of where you left off. Less willpower to get going then. It's relaxing. I just could keep doing it forever. I think I'll leave those pins in for now. to go like 2 more stitches and then we'll call it an evening here. Alright, I think we'll stop right there. So, alright, that's coming along. I think it's looking pretty lined up still. I think that nothing's really moved, so I'm really happy about that. So, alright, yeah, we just have this one little edge left on here. I'm just going to put the pin in, or the needle in right here as well. And then I think these two, I'm thinking we should easily get those two done tomorrow. Yeah, I think we're going to get a lot done tomorrow. We might even get going on one of these guys up here. So there we go. We got the rind and this guy completely done. And this whole top edge. So it is looking awfully cute. A little close up. And then this side as well. The rind is looking fun. Ooh, I'm loving it. All right, that felt good for tonight here. All right, there. So I am really happy with this. It is coming together, and it just has that pretty raised look that you get with needle turn applique. There's just something special. It just feels so vintage and old, and like someone took their time to stitch all that. I mean, I just think it's just got love in it a little bit. Not that the fusible way doesn't, but there's just something special about it. I think that needle turn look. So I am happy to be doing it again. It's been a little while. So awesome. I am going to keep going on this for the next 2 days. I think we will hopefully have no problem getting this done, completely done by Friday. Doing all this hand stitching, so that's exciting. Yeah, and if you haven't gotten the Embroidery of the Month yet, we still have bundles and the patterns available just through September, so just a little reminder there. And we are shipping them pretty quickly right away. And there's been a few post office things, but all in all, everything is still getting to you guys really quickly, so I'm happy about that. It's just there must be a couple distribution centers in between here and some other places that are taking a little longer every now and then, but all in all, I think the post office has been doing really well. So great. Thanks again, you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night.